In the bustling city of Hong Kong, Abby Choi was a name that many recognized. A gorgeous model, socialite, and influencer, she had graced the covers of fashion magazines and was a regular at glamorous events. But on the evening of February 21st, 2023, something unimaginable happened. Abby Choi disappeared without a trace. Her family grew concerned when Abby failed to pick up her daughter from school, something she never missed. Calls to her phone went unanswered, and as hours turned into days, fear began to settle in. It wasn't long before the police were involved, and the city was on high alert. But no one could have predicted the horrifying discovery that lay ahead. 3 days later, on February 24th, 2023, the tranquil suburb of Tai Po was thrust into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. In a modest village house, the police made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the community. Abby Choi's headless body was found, gruesomely dismembered. Some of her body parts were hidden in a refrigerator, while others, chillingly, had been cooked. Her skull and ribs were later found in a pot, a macabre detail that painted a picture of unimaginable horror. The scene was something out of a nightmare. A meat slicer and electric saw, tools of unspeakable violence, were found at the location. The police immediately classified the case as a murder, but this was no ordinary killing. This was a crime of unfathomable brutality. Before she became the center of a horrifying crime story, Abby Choi was a rising star in the world of fashion and social media. Born into an ordinary family, Abby's life took a turn when her mother remarried a wealthy businessman who made a fortune in construction and mining in mainland China. Despite her humble beginnings, Abby's charm and style soon caught the attention of the fashion world. Abby was a regular at Paris Fashion Week, rubbing shoulders with the elite and making her mark as a trendsetter. She was featured in high-profile magazines like Elle, Harper's Bazaar, and Vogue, and her Instagram account boasted over 100,000 followers. Just weeks before her untimely death, Abby graced the cover of L'Officiel Monaco, celebrated as a fashion icon who could effortlessly mix and match styles. But there was more to Abby than just her glamorous life. She had a kind heart, co-founding Payom's charitable organization, a group dedicated to helping stray animals. Her philanthropic work showed a different side to the model, one that cared deeply for those less fortunate. Her personal life, however, was more complex. Abby married Alex Kwong when she was just 18, and they had 2 children together. The marriage, however, was short-lived, ending in divorce after 3 years. Despite the separation, Abby remained close to Alex and his family, a decision that would later have devastating consequences. Abby moved on and found love again with Chris Tam Fong Chun, a man from a wealthy and well-known family in Hong Kong. They had 2 children together and held a wedding ceremony in 2016, although they never legally married. Abby seemed to have it all: a loving family, a successful career, and a bright future. But beneath the surface, darker currents were at play. As the police delved into Abby's murder, a twisted and sinister plot began to unravel. The first arrests came swiftly on February 25, 2023, when 3 suspects were taken into custody. Among them was Anthony Kwong, Abby's former brother-in-law and her hired driver. Alongside him were his parents, Abby's former parents-in-law, who were now implicated in the crime. But the investigation was far from over. The next day, in a dramatic twist, the police apprehended Alex Kwong, Abby's ex-husband, as he attempted to flee Hong Kong by sea. It soon became clear that this was not just a random act of violence. It was a meticulously planned murder, with Abby's former father-in-law, Kwong Kao, allegedly masterminding the plot. Kwong Kao, a former policeman with a shadowy past, including accusations of rape, was believed to be the driving force behind the crime. The motive? A bitter dispute over money and a luxury apartment that Abby had reportedly purchased before placing it under her former father-in-law's name. This apartment, located in Kadoorie Hill, one of Hong Kong's most prestigious neighborhoods, became the focus of a deadly conflict. On February 26, 2023, the investigation took another gruesome turn when the police found Abby's severed head and ribs inside a pot of cooked soup. The horror of the crime was now fully exposed, leaving the public and authorities alike reeling from the brutality. More arrests followed, including a 47-year-old woman named Chi Wing, Kwong Kao's alleged mistress, who was accused of helping Alex Kwong hide before his failed escape attempt. The search for Abby's missing hands, torso, and other body parts continued, with over 100 officers combing through a landfill in the northeast New Territories. The complexity of the case deepened as DNA testing confirmed that the recovered head indeed belonged to Abby. By the end of February, the police had charged Alex Kwong, his brother Anthony, and their father Kwong Kao with murder, while their mother was charged with perverting the course of justice. The suspects were denied bail and remained in custody, awaiting trial. As the legal proceedings began, the city of Hong Kong watched closely. The prosecution laid out a chilling case, revealing that bloodstains matching Abby's DNA had been found in her former brother-in-law's car. Over 30 pieces of evidence, including knives, chainsaws, and hammers, were sent for DNA analysis, all pointing to a calculated and brutal murder. In March 2023, it was revealed that Alex Kwong had a criminal past, being a suspect in 7 alleged theft cases over nearly a decade. He had even absconded from a court appearance in 2015, further painting a picture of a man with a troubled history. Additional arrests followed, with more individuals being charged with aiding and abetting Alex Kwong in his attempt to escape. By April 2024, the web of complicity had widened, with new charges being filed against several suspects for their roles in obstructing justice. The case was complex, involving multiple suspects, each playing a part in the tragic end of Abby Choi's life. The murder of Abby Choi sent shockwaves not just through Hong Kong but across the world. The brutality of the crime and the involvement of multiple family members made headlines internationally. The case also revived memories of other notorious murder cases in Hong Kong's history, such as the Braemar Hill murders and the Hello Kitty murder case. Abby's friends and family were devastated. Hong Kong actor Aaron Kwok and his wife Mocha Fong, close friends of Abby, expressed their grief, describing her as a dear friend who would be deeply missed. Abby's current husband, Chris Tam, vowed to take care of their children, including Abby's 2 children from her previous marriage. He remembered her as a loving and attentive wife and mother. Thousands of fans and netizens worldwide expressed their condolences, with many in mainland China calling for the death penalty for those responsible. However, in Hong Kong, where the death penalty was abolished in 1993, the maximum sentence for murder is life imprisonment. Abby's funeral was held on June 18, 2023, a solemn event attended by family, friends, and admirers. Before the funeral, a ritual was held in March to pay respects to her, a gesture that underscored the deep sense of loss felt by all who knew her. In Tai Po's Lung Mei village, where Abby's dismembered body was discovered, the community came together to perform Taoist rituals to calm the spirit of the deceased. It was a poignant reminder of the tragic and horrific nature of her death. The police, in a press conference, reassured the public that they would leave no stone unturned in their quest for justice. With the help of GPS records and CCTV footage, they had pieced together the events leading to Abby's murder, and they vowed to ensure that those responsible would be held accountable. The story of Abby Choi is one of beauty, success, and ultimately tragedy. Her life was cut short in the most brutal way imaginable, leaving behind a legacy of both glamour and horror. As the legal battles continue, the world watches, hoping that justice will be served for Abby and her family. Abby Choi's murder remains one of the most chilling and heartbreaking cases in recent history, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath even the most glittering surfaces.